Welcome to another of my desktop demonstrations. Today we're looking at compensation units for wagons. Now the two most popular versions are the Slater style 3-point compensation unit and the Bill Bedford sprung compensation unit. There is a third version which has actual sprung horn blocks in the traditional way. That's manufactured by Slater's, to my knowledge. It's quite complicated in getting it set up correctly, whereas these two are probably the easiest ones to do. So first of all, I'm going to do the Slater's one, which is basically 3 components. Very simple. I modify them occasionally by putting a piece of wire in here to increase the rocking, but apart from that they are good, sturdy and work every time, as long as you know what you're doing. So first job is to take away the 3 main parts from the edge. So we've got a small base plate which has got 2 tags which need folding up, the first rocking WI, and you can tell it's the rocking one because it's got the 2 holes for the tags. It's got 2 rivets at either end which need folding up, and then that bit and that bit and that bit fold up to make a box. Virtually identical on the other end, so I'll start by folding. I'm going to start by folding up the base plate. There are 2 half-edge lines there and there, and you always fold into the half-edge line. So that's the base plate folded up. So here are the other ones. So again, fold into the half-edge lines on the centre part. In fact, but away from the half-edge line on the ends of the WIs. So they've got to go and fold through 180 degrees. There we go. So that's the second one folded up. And the third one folded up. So that's the unfitted version. There is actually a fitted version which involves little tags on the side to hold some brake blocks, but the principle's the same. So to get them to rock, insert the base plate into the WI and twist over the tags. And it will sit there and rock quite happily all day long. There are people in the Scale 7 Society which do not like these rockers, but I use them for Scale 7 wagons and they work perfectly for me. So that's the first type. So we've actually got these already folded up, and this wagon has already got them installed inside. It's just enough rock on one end of the wagon to allow it to cope with most uneven track. And we'll move on to the Bill Bedford's one after. Right, the Bill Bedford's version comes in a little pack, and you can get these from Eileen's Emporium. They are a sprung and the spring using a piece of wire at the back, and these are relatively easy to fold up and fit, and I'm going to do that right now. So, taking a good pair of snips, breaks that one loose. Right, so we have now a W iron, which has still got a bit of flash to take off the bottom. There. Right, put off the top. So we're ready to go. Now there's a section in the centre which I have a tendency to leave until last, and that is governed by the size of the wheel bearing you're actually fitting off your set of wheels. Some wheel bearings are slightly slimmer than others, but the principle behind it is each exactly the same. So again, we're doing some folding into the half-inch lines. There, and there we are again. So that will then fit at the back. And then we need to take one of these little bits off here. Well, off because it's easier than can just trim that up. I'm going to go in the scrap box later. So there are 3 tags on the back of this, 2 with the edge on one side and the centre on the other side, and they have a piece of wire put between them. So I have in my hand now the piece of piano wire which comes with them. I don't think you'll actually show up because it's that fine. So first thing, thread the wire through the holes in the W irons and cut it to length. I find with piano wire you need a reasonably umphy set of snips to do this, and always give yourself a bit more length than you actually think you require. So now we've cut out a piece of wire to length, we have to feed it through, and the easiest way to do that is to bend the tags out slightly. And the wire should slot behind them. So holding the wire in place, squish the tags back. That prisoners the wire. And becomes the spring for the axle box. So the next part is to thread the wire back into W1. Easier said than done, but with the aid of a pair of pliers. There we go. Make sure that's reasonably square, and then bend over the wire. And do the same on the other side. And now it's not going anywhere, but does spring up and down. Don't know if you can see that. Well, that's the finished WN. So when the axle box goes in, I'll trim off the bit in the middle when it's needed. And in true Blue Peter style, here's one I made earlier. So this is actually one of Ian McCormack's London, Brighton and South Coast brake van kits, and as you can see, the axle boxes spring up and down quite nicely. And there is the finished wagon with the axle box on.